Welcome to Simplilearn. In this video, we will know what is data analytics, applications of data analytics, types of data analytics process steps, and more. So before we begin, consider subscribing to Simplilearn and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates from us.
And the two steps are analyze the data and then make decisions based on the data. Applications of data analytics. Now, the sky's the limit on this. In today's world, almost every business, act of life, your music on your Spotify are driven by data analytics. But some of the big players, when you go in their job hunting, are going to be your fraud analysis. If you want to go make a lot of money and you're good at it and you like dealing with numbers, go join the banks and track down the criminals who are stealing money. It's a lot of, it's a big thing to protect credit cards, protect sales purchases, bad checks, any of those things when you can track them down is huge. Healthcare, exploding. There's everything from trying to find cures for the COVID virus or any of the viruses out there, using your cell phone to diagnose different ailments. That way you don't have to go in and see the doctor. You can actually just go in there and take a picture of the funky growth on your arm. Hopefully it's not too big. And then they send it in there and the data analytics goes in there and looks at it and says, oh, this is what this is. This is the professional you need to go see or don't need to see. And that's just one aspect of healthcare. The databases being generated by healthcare and getting the right doctors and helping the doctors analyze whether something is benign or malignant, if it's cancerous. All those things are now part of the ongoing healthcare growth in data analytics. Inventory management. Think one of those huge warehouses where they're shipping out all the goods. How do you inventory that in such a way so that you maximize the stuff that's being purchased the most near the entrance and all the other stuff towards the back, or even pre-ship it? So it's huge to be able to manage your inventory, and pretty soon they'll just have a drone come in there and start picking up some of those boxes and move them around also. Delivery logistics. Again, this goes from getting from point A to point B. You can combine it with our inventory, so you pre-ship stuff if you know a certain area is more likely to purchase it. How do you get the delivery to the most destinations the quickest in the short amount of time? And then they even pre-stack the trucks going out, and that's all done with data analytics. How do we stack all that stuff so it comes out in the right order? Targeted marketing, huge industry. Any kind of marketing, whether you're generating the right content for the marketing, who are you targeting with that marketing, researching the people, what they want, so you know what products to market out there. All those things are huge. And these are just a few examples. You can probably go way beyond this, from tracking forest fires to astrology and studying the stars. All of this is part of data analytics now and plays a huge role in all these different areas. City planning is another one. You can see a nice organized city like this one where you can get in and out of the neighborhoods if you're a fire truck. Police officers need to be able to get in and out. You want your tourists to be able to come in, yet you still want the place to look nice, and you have the right commercial development, the right industrial development, like enough residents for people to stay. All those things are part of your city planning. Again, huge in data analytics. So, sky's the limit on what you use it for. Let's take a look at types of data analytics. And this can be broken up in so many ways, but we're going to start with looking at the most basic questions that you're going to be asking in data analytics. And the first one is you want descriptive analytics. What has happened? Hindsight. How many sales per call ratio coming out of the call center? If we have 500 tourists in a forest and you have a certain temperature, how many fires were started? How many times did the police have to show up to certain houses? All that's descriptive. The next one is predictive. Predictive analytics is what will happen next. We want to predict. This is great if you have an ice cream store and you want to predict how many people to work at the ice cream store on a certain day based on the temperature coming up and the time of the year. And then one of the biggest growing and most important parts of the industry is now prescriptive analytics. And you can think of that as combining the first two. We have descriptive and we have predictive. And then you get prescriptive analytics. How can we make it happen? Foresight. What can we change to make this work better? In all the industries we looked at before, we can start asking questions, especially in city development. There's a good one. If we want to have our city generate more income and we want that income to be commercial based. What kind of commercial buildings do we need to build in that area that are going to bring people over? Do we need huge warehouse sales, Costco sales buildings, or do we need little mom and pop joints that are going to bring in people from the country to come shop there? Or do you want an industrial setup? What do you need to bring that industry in there? Is there a car industry available in that area? If it's not a car industry, what other industries are in that area? All those things are prescriptive. We're guessing. We're guessing what can we do to fix it? What can we do to fix crime in an area with education? What kind of education are we going to use to help people understand what's going on so that we lower the rate of crime and we help our communities grow better? That's all prescriptive. It's all guessing. We want foresight into how can we make it happen? How can we make this better? And we really can't not go into enough detail on these three, because a lot of people stumble on this when they come in and are doing analytics, whether you're the manager, shareholder, or the data scientist coming in. You really need to understand the descriptive analytics, where you're studying the total units of furniture sold and the profit that was made in the past. Here we go into predictive analytics, predicting the total units that would sell and the profit we can expect in the future, gear up for how many employees we need, how much money we're going to make, and prescriptive analytics, finding ways to improve the sales and the profit so we can sell maybe a different kind of furniture. We're going to guess at what the area is looking for and how that marketing is going to change. Data analytics process steps. So let's take a look at some of the basic processing and what that looks like when you're working with this data. So there's 5 basic steps. The 5 steps of processing, and this changes, and then there's a lot of things that go on when they talk about agile programming. The whole concept of agile is you take some kind of framework like this and then you build on it depending on what your business needs. So the first step is data collection. And usually with a large company you might have somebody who is responsible for the database management. You might have another one where they're pulling APIs and they're pulling data off of maybe the Census Bureau, maybe something very, very specific, domain specific. So if you're analyzing cancerous growths and how to understand them, then the data collection is going to be those measurements they take from the MRI. Or it might be even the MRI images. They've used those also. So there's a lot of things with data collection and how to control that and make sure it has what you need and is clean and you don't have misinformation coming in. Once you have the data collected, there's a data preparation. So stage 2 is we take that data and we format it into something we can use. Probably one of the biggest formats that you see is when you're processing text. How do you process text? Well, you use what they call a one-hot encoder, and each word is represented by a yes-no kind of setup. So it'd be like a long array of bits. That's one way to prepare it. And so, bit number 1 is the. Bit number 2 is has, or whatever it is. Other preparations might be if you're using neural networks, you might be taking integers or float numbers and converting them to a value between 0 and 1. That way you don't have one of them creating a bias in there. So there's a lot of different things that go into data preparation. That is 80% of data science. So when we talk about the data analytics, which is a little bit more on the math side, and they usually talk about a data scientist kind of being the overall preparer of this stuff, you're going to spend 80% of your data preparation. Data exploration, that's the fun part. This is where you're exploring things. And it is maybe 10 to 15% of what you do with the data you spend with the data exploration. It is probably the most important step, because this is where you got to start asking questions. If you ask your questions wrong, you're going to get some wrong information. If you're working with a company and they want to know the marketing values, then you really got to focus on, hey, how do we generate money for this company? Or fraud, how do we lower the fraud rate while still generating a profit? 4, data modeling. This is where we start actually getting into the data code, which model to use that predicts what's going to happen. And then result interpretation. We want to be able to interpret those results. You usually see that in your Matplot library, where you create nice, beautiful images so that it shows up on their dashboard for the marketing manager or for the CEO, so they can take a quick look and say, hey, I can see what's going on there. You want to reduce it to something they can easily read. They don't want to hear the scientific terms. They want to see something they can use. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we start looking at some of this in a demo.
Staying ahead in your career requires continuous learning and upskilling. Whether you're a student aiming to learn today's top skills or a working professional looking to advance your career, we've got you covered. Explore our impressive catalog of certification programs in cutting-edge domains, including data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, or digital marketing. Designed in collaboration with leading universities and top corporations, and delivered by industry experts, choose any of our programs and set yourself on the path to career success. Click the link in the description to know more.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.